Yeah, so I definitely disagree with
Okay.
God being evil. That's like a contradiction in terms.
What's it
J-Rob,
contradicting?
well, I'll let you speak for yourself. I already know your position, so go ahead, J-Rob.
Yeah, I mean, God by definition is a perfect, being, right? He's not contingent, so he wouldn't have any like flaws when it comes to like morality. So by definition, if we're saying God, we're saying a perfectly pure, just being. Um, so if you're saying that he's evil, then that's not God. That's a false God.
Do you think it's
How are you
just to
defining justice?
punish someone
Go
else for
ahead.
a crime that someone else does? Like if someone does a crime, is it perfect justice to throw their brother in prison, for example?
Well, so one, our opinions don't like really matter here,
No,
but
I'm
just
asking
to,
you yours. If
yeah. So
if
just to,
someone commits a crime, is it perfect justice to punish someone else for the crime? Is there ever a time where that's just?
so if you're saying like if the person is willingly taking the punishment for his brother, then you
No,
could say that
I'm not talking
it would be
about
just.
that. I'm saying if Fred robs a bank and I decide my punishment is to throw Jimmy in jail, is that justice?
No, I wouldn't be if I just did it like arbitrarily. No.
Whether it's arbitrary or not, if it could be arbitrary or it could be supposed reason for it. You agree with me that that's not just, is it?
No, I'm saying if there's good reasons for it, then yeah.
Well, what would be a good reason to punish a random person for the crime of another? Well, give me an example of what
A
a good reason
random
might
a
be.
random person.
Yeah,
Oh, well
random,
then yeah, that would
an
yeah that,
unrelated
that
person.
yeah that would be unjust. Yeah.
Unjust, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So when David made a census and counted the people of Israel, and this made God very angry, even though interestingly God had actually influenced him to do it, or maybe it was Satan, and maybe we'll talk about that later. But when that happened, what was God's punishment against David?
I can't remember. I know he had to go through some stuff. Him and his
Well,
like family.
yeah, him and his family and 70,000 unrelated innocent people. Right. So
Okay.
here is the announcement of the punishment. Right. When David rose in the morning, the word of the Lord
Mm.
came. The prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, "Go and say to David, thus saying the Lord, 3 things I offer you." This is going to offer him the choice of punishments. "Choose one of them, and I will do it to you." It's charming, isn't it? So Gad came to David and told him, and he asked, "Shall 7 years of famine come to you on your land, or," it's like a TV quiz show, "or will you flee 3 months before your foes while they pursue you, or shall there be 3 days pestilence in your land? Now consider and decide what answer I shall return to the one who sent me." And David said to God, "I'm in great distress." He's begging for mercy now. "Let us fall into the hand of the Lord, for his mercy is great, but let me not fall into human hands." So David is saying, I know you want to punish me. Don't make me choose a punishment. I'm just throwing myself on your mercy. Do to me what you will. And what did God do? Let's have a look. "So the Lord sent a pestilence on Israel from that morning until the appointed time, and 70,000 of the people died from Dan to Beersheba." So that is an example of 70,000 unrelated, innocent people being punished for the crime of one person. And in your view, that's perfect justice.
Yeah, I already stated that. But by definition, God, like by definition, his nature is perfect. So if anything he does in act of justice is going to be perfectly just.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I asked you if it was just to punish unrelated people for someone's crime, you said no. But what you really meant was no, unless God's doing it, in which case it's great. Right? Oh, you're teacupped at the moment. When you go into your app
Well, you
to
said
get your talking
well
points,
you
we can't
said
hear
just
you.
no. Oh no, I'm just trying to get my headphones plugged in. Um, so when we're talking about God, you said well when you asked me the question, you just said random unrelated people.
Yeah, they were
But
random, unrelated
now
people,
you're now
70,000
now
people.
now 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 these are people who are related, right? This is Israel.
No,
So
they were
David is
unrelated. They were unrelated to the
yeah.
crime. The fact that they were in the same
That's not
country,
unrelated.
well, it is unrelated because
Wait,
by that definition,
that's not unrelated,
if somebody else robs a bank, I can put you in prison
bro.
because you live in the same country and you're related. Are you making that argument with a straight face?
Why am I getting muted when you interrupted me? Um, so they're not unrelated, right? They're
I asked you if you're making that
connected
argument
to
with
David.
a straight face.
You said what?
I asked you if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
making
of
with a
course.
straight face the argument that the people are related to the crime because they come from the same nation. By that definition, if someone down the street from you
Yeah,
robs a bank, I can send you to prison because you're in the same nation. You're
that's not what
related.
I said. You're not paying attention. You're not allowing me to finish, and then you're jumping in saying stuff that I'm not saying.
Well, make the
That's what
case.
it
Make the
sounded like you
case
said.
for the
Well, I
70,000
didn't
people.
finish.
Make the case for the 70,000 people who didn't do the census being punished for David doing it just because they're from the same nation.
Yeah, so it's not simply because they're from the same nation. It's because he is the leader of this nation. So anything that he does is going to have like a ripple effect that affects the nation. Just like, Pharaoh, when he was in rebellion, the things that he did, right, affected his nation,
Do you realize
right?
how much
As well
worse you're
as,
making your position? The things
yeah,
that
Yeah,
Pharaoh
just
this
like
did.
isn't cause and effect.
Exactly.
if I rob the bank, it is cause and effect, right?
Okay.
J
Because
Rob,
the
cause and effect would be like, let's say tariffs raise prices on goods. That happened. That's cause and effect. This is the equivalent of the Justice Department deciding to inflict capital punishment on 70,000 people because the president of the United States, like American people, because the president of the United States committed a crime. Is that just?
So again, we're not God. So we don't have the
So it's
ability.
just if God does it.
This is
Of
just special
course,
plea.
no
This is
duh.
just special
I've learned.
pleading.
I've
All
learned.
this
It's not
is.
special pleaded.
It
It's
is.
not
All
special
this
pleading.
is special pleading for divine command theory. This is all this is, and it's so ironic that you brought
It's
up
actually neither.
that you brought up Pharaoh in Egypt, because of course the problem that led to the people of Egypt suffering as because of Pharaoh's actions was enacted by God, who said that he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart, and then enacted his punishment, the 10th plague, the death of the firstborns, on innocent Egyptian people, on many slaves within the nation of Egypt who were themselves the victims of the Pharaoh and the victims of those things. So the reason why the cause and effect that you so eloquently mentioned was specifically implemented by God himself. It's amazing to me that you would bring that up as if it's exculpatory. It makes your position
Yeah.
infinitely worse.
No, it doesn't. Just because you don't like it's not helping my case because the principle is right on point. And when we're
What
talking
principle is
about,
that?
yeah, that the leader.
Don't go back to cause and effect again. I already told you the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
That's
this
not
is
cause and effect. That's God choosing
Uh,
to punish the people
all
with
right. Hello.
capital punishment. Go ahead.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. So when we're talking about a justice system, then yes, it's going to be cause and effect because if the
Oh
leader
wow.
of the nation is going to, oh my gosh, can I finish talking? If the leader of the nation is going to be our ultimate representation for that nation, then yes, when justice executed, anything that the king does is going to affect the entire kingdom. So just, I mean, even now, if the orange man, you know, uh, drops a bang somewhere on a specific place, right? Those people are going to most likely retaliate, and then we're going to receive the consequences for his actions,
but
right? So anytime,
call that bad.
when we're talking about
We wouldn't celebrate it like you are. We would call it bad.
who celebrate, I'm not
These
well,
causes and effects that you're alluding to are perpetrated by the God that you're worshipping. So you don't get to just go, oh, it's an inevitable cause and
yeah,
effect. It's your
yeah, it
God
is.
who's creating those causes and effects, which is precisely why I'm saying he's evil. Why didn't he just punish David for the census? Why punish
So
innocent people?
So again, your subjective saying he's evil is not doing nothing. I'm not sure why you're like continuously saying, "Hey, my opinion,
Yeah,
right, matters," in
it's
the
my
sense
opinion.
that,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's
because
what I'm
I'm
saying.
not a
It's funny.
psychopath.
Like,
Because I'm not a
yeah, well, when
psychopath.
we're speaking, like, well, it doesn't have anything to do with being a
It's
psychopath.
got quite a
Has
lot to do
everything
with
to
that
do
because
with
part of psychopathy is being indifferent to the suffering of others. And so
no, it's
I find
called
myself morally activated by the idea of 70,000 people being punished for the actions of one man. They didn't choose. They weren't involved in the original crime. Why should they be involved in the punishment? I'm amazed at how
It's
casually you
called
shrug this off and just go, oh, it's cause and effect. Actions have
it's
consequences.
called epistemology, right?
It's not. It's got nothing
I'm
to do with
aware.
epistemology.
Yeah,
Epistemology is the study of how we know what's true, of how we form belief and justify belief. It's nothing to do with epistemology. You don't need to throw epistemology in there. Come on,
I
you
don't
can
know.
do better
I don't know
than that.
why I keep getting muted, bro.
Because
Like I know you don't like that. I'm actually
because
giving you like actual arguments, and you don't
no,
like the
you're not. You're not
arguments.
giving me
You
arguments. You're
can't. You
giving
can't
me.
engage with them.
You're not giving me
Well, you,
arguments. You're giving me
well,
coping.
yeah. Okay.
I'm waiting for
No,
an
that's
argument.
no.
The only
You're
argument you've made
coping.
so
You're saying,
far. The only argument you've made so far is God can do it because everything he does is perfect. That isn't an argument.
why are you? Can we have a conversation
We're
like
having one.
without you muting me?
Be short and succinct in your responses, and we'll listen and go back and forth. But there's a lot of talking over going both ways,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
and it's hard
muting
to get
me
a
and
word
talking
in
over me.
Okay,
edgewise.
stop crying and make your argument.
I'm not crying. You're
Good.
coping. But anyways, when we're talking about whether or not God is giving justice, right, and how he gives justice, right, God is all knowing. So he knows how every ripple effect is going to affect the entire community. So he has access, he has epistemic access to say, hey, look, this punishment is going to affect the entire community and how it's going to affect the entire community, and he's going to be able to implement that punishment, right?
Okay.
You
going
as a
pause there for a
limited
moment.
person.
Pause there for a moment, if
Oh
you
my
will.
God, bro.
Pause there for a moment. I'm just asking you if I can clarify what you've just said before you go on, because otherwise you'll say too much and there's too many things to deal with, right? So what you've just said is God has epistemic access to what the consequences of the crimes are going to be, but you skipped over the bit that he is the consequences. He could make them different. It's not like he's just understood what they're going to be and he has no choice. He's choosing what they are, and you're not engaging with that at all.
No, he's not choosing, right?
Oh, he had
So
no
that's
choice.
what,
God had to punish the 70,000 people.
Bro, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like,
No, I don't see what you're saying.
Yeah, I said 2 words. Like, yeah, I know you don't because you're not listening. That's how that works, right? If you don't listen to what I'm saying, you're not gonna understand what I'm saying.
Right.
J.
Okay.
Rob, when you make one point,
I said 2 words.
No, he stopped you. When you make
I said he
just
didn't
one
choose.
point at a time. So God didn't choose. So the Bible is wrong.
Did I say that? You see what I'm saying?
You did.
You see, y'all
You
not
did say
listening.
that. No, you did say
y'all
that.
listen to 2. Y'all listen to 2 words that I said, and y'all jump to all these conclusions.
Well, the conclusions
Can
are
I
based
finish?
on not yet. The conclusions are based
Okay.
on the words that came out of your mouth, because I said to you that you had claimed I said to you that you had claimed God has epistemic access to what the consequences were going to be. I said he didn't just have epistemic access; he was choosing the consequences.
Like, what are we doing, bro?
Right?
I was listening to you.
He was choosing.
Try listening to me.
Okay, he was choosing the consequences, and that's something you're not engaging with.
I heard you. I didn't get a chance to. I'm sorry. Like, if you allow me to finish, like, if you know.
Okay, explain why he had no choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't get why you won't allow me to do that. Like, when I said he doesn't choose what is right and wrong, right? What is perfect and just consequences, right? What I mean by that is that God has eternal knowledge, right, of what is right and what is wrong, right? That's the reason why it says, God, like when we go to Genesis, when he says that
you don't need
that
to
now they have become like us. Yes, when they
You're
become
all
like
over
us,
the map
knowing.
You're all over the map, my friend.
Listen.
No,
I mean,
I have to stop you again because I can't subject my audience to this twaddle. You're now making a claim that God had absolutely no choice but to inflict that punishment on 70,000 people because of something in Genesis where he knows what right and wrong is. Knowing what right and wrong is has got absolutely nothing to do.
Engage with that. Engage with it.
Well, I'm not going to because it's ludicrous.
You're not going to engage.
Well, I'm engaging with it to the extent that I'm dismissing it because it's a fallacious argument.
Yeah, okay. It's
easy
to dismiss it, right?
You're saying it is easy to dismiss it because it's nonsense.
Yeah, you're saying a straw man.
You're saying that God had no choice but to inflict that punishment because he knew what right and wrong was. That's not only is that a wrong argument, it's a complete non sequitur. One has nothing to do with the other.
Refute it then. Yeah, refute it. How so?
Well, it's like saying I had to slap him round the face because the grass is long in the garden. One has nothing to do with the
No,
other.
that's not even close to being analogous,
It's
right? So are we
directly
not talking
analogous.
about are we not talking about justice?
If I was in your position, I would be very reluctant to talk about justice. Justice involves
Like,
involves
do you not know how to engage in good faith?
justice
Is
involves.
it impossible for you?
May I
He's
speak?
trying to answer your question.
It's a
Thank you.
yes or no. Are we not talking about justice? Oh my
We
gosh.
are. We are talking about
Okay, we're talking
justice,
about
and
justice. So
and
is not right is knowing right and wrong directly dealing with
right,
how to
yeah.
execute justice.
Well,
Okay, beautiful. So if God,
knowing right from wrong is about knowing right from wrong. It's got nothing to do with deciding what the scale of punishments should be. So, for example, I could say that I know that it's wrong for someone to steal my pencil case. That it doesn't flow from that I'm therefore entitled to cut their head off if they do. And so, what you've
yeah, I
singularly
didn't say that.
failed to do is make a connection between God knowing what's
So
right
yeah,
and
I'm
wrong.
showing you.
I'm speaking at the moment, that what you've singularly
Oh my
failed to
God, bro.
do is make a connection between God knowing right from wrong and God deciding to meter out punishment to 70,000 people who didn't do the wrong thing.
All right, I'll give
Are
you a
you able to do
syllogism.
that or
Maybe this
not?
I engage with my syllogism. Then maybe this might help you. All right, God
P1,
knows right from P1. God knows right from wrong. Okay,
P2.
P2. There's a right and a wrong way to execute justice.
Conclusion?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Therefore, if God is perfectly just, He will execute the right way to execute. He will enact the right way to execute justice.
Right. So
I
you
reject the first premise. Go ahead, John.
yeah, I will reject all the premises are merely asserted
Okay.
without being
On what
demonstrated.
basis? On what basis?
Well, you claim God knows right from wrong. That's just a claim. And saying that he knows the right way to execute
Wait, are y'all
justice
not doing an
is
You
internal
got to
critique?
J-Rob, let him finish. That's why
He
we
has
keep
to
muting
finish
you.
now.
yeah, yeah. And the point is saying that he knows how to execute perfect justice and then giving an example of imperfect justice kind of disproves the second premise, doesn't it?
Oh my
Because
God.
it's like me saying I know how to make the
Oh
perfect
my God.
pancake and then giving you a dog shit in a pan and go, there you go, I proved the second premise.
Oh my God. All right. So your opinion means nothing, right? When we're asking, when you say you guys are doing an internal critique, right? You're talking about God's executing justice, right? If I show you in the Bible where it says He knows right from wrong, right? I'm not. I'm not asserting anything, right? You're doing an internal critique. So you just saying, "Hey, I don't like the way He does it, therefore it's evil." What are we doing?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
On the justice side, it isn't actually about what I like. It's about the fact that a word like justice actually has a meaning. It has a meaning. We know what justice means. And even if we can't define it perfectly, we can be fairly confident about things that aren't justice. So if God's idea of justice involves punishing unrelated people for crimes, then that disproves your second premise, doesn't it? Just declaring that he knows it is not the same as actually showing it.
So you believe in objective morality?
No, I don't. I don't believe it. I'm not talking about
Okay, well
morality. I'm
then,
talking about justice.
okay.
I'm not talking
So
about
if we're doing an
morality.
internal,
I'm talking
yeah,
about
well,
justice.
justice is.
And
So you don't
which
think
was
justice
why I asked you at
is
the
related to
beginning.
morality?
It is related, but
Well, you don't think you don't
it's
think.
why I asked you at the beginning if it's ever just to punish unrelated people for the crime of another, because I wanted to establish a commonality with you in our definition of justice, and you agreed with me
Oh
that it's
my
not
God.
just. When I presented you with an example of God doing that, you suddenly changed your mind and you modified your position from it's always just unjust to punish unrelated people for a crime unless my God's doing it, and I know it's just because it says so in Genesis.
Yeah, I said
That's your
that
argument.
it is related.
Okay.
No, that's a straw man, and you're good at it. I see you're good at straw manning arguments,
What
right?
did I say that
But
you
that's
didn't
not.
say?
Yeah. You've been straw manning my argument this whole time.
What did I specifically say
Now,
just now that you didn't say?
yeah. Well, one, I said that they are related. You initially said that somebody's unrelated and I said that they are
When
related,
he
right?
J
So
Rob,
oh
when
my
he said
God, oh
related,
my
when
God,
he's no, because I got to correct you point by point. We got to take this because you go off on a tangent with like 5 different points. We got
yeah,
to
okay.
address them one at a time. When he said related, do you think he meant like they're cousins, or do you think he meant related to the crime? Which one?
Yeah. Obviously, the second
No,
one.
yeah. So why does it matter if they're okay? So how are they related to the crime? The
Yeah,
70,000 people.
because the only reason why David is even in the position he is in is because the Israelites they demanded to have a king, even though God told them, "Hey, yeah, no, you probably shouldn't have a king. You should allow me to be the king because if you have a king, it's gonna it's gonna have some consequences, right? And so because they had a king, these are going to be the consequences.
And in your mind, that creates enough
So
of a
that's how it's related.
relationship to punish other people for the crimes of one man.
Yeah, if God sees
I'm
fit, yeah,
astonished that you think that's a
yeah,
reasonable argument. I mean,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
literally
God,
astonished.
yeah. Well, I'm astonished that you haven't even shown me your justification to even say anything about morality and justice. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, I absolutely have. I've said to you that an important principle of justice is that punishment is dished out to the people who do the crime, and that's proportionate. That's kind of what we mean by
Yeah,
justice.
and what's your
When we
justice?
when we have
Which
when
you
we have
agree
a
to.
for anyone watching this on YouTube the next day, wind it back to the beginning of the conversation and listen to the very first question I asked J Rob and listen to him agreeing with me. I wanted to do that for a reason. I wanted to
I
establish
agree
that
to the question. Yeah,
that we both had the same idea of justice and that we could both find common ground on what the parameters of justice were, because I knew that later on he'd change his mind about it and be claiming that
I haven't changed.
things outside of those were also included in justice, which is
Yeah,
why
I
I asked the
haven't
question
changed.
at the beginning. So the thing you said at
Yeah,
the beginning was you agreed with
I
me
haven't changed.
that
Yeah, I do agree with you.
people who weren't involved in the crime should be
That's
punished for it.
that's not what you said. You said unrelated to the
Yeah,
crime. That's what
unrelated
you
to the
said.
crime,
Right.
unrelated to the
Yeah.
incident.
Yeah, and
Random
I
people,
explained to
random
you.
people. No,
Yeah, yeah, these are random people.
your explanation
You-
of that some story about how David became king is just a desperate
mhm.
cope. That's all that
I
is.
mean, you could say that, but I mean,
That's all it
you haven't
is.
proven anything. You haven't proven anything. You just been
Sure,
strawmanning me left and right.
of course.
So at the end of the day, again, you have no justification to say God is evil. I've established that yes, there is relation here. So your
Yep,
argument fails, and even
sure.
outside of this, your whole worldview fails because you have
It's
no
devastating. It's
justification
crumbling
You don't
around
have
me.
to even make the claim
J Rob.
that God is evil.
All you have is God did it, therefore it's just.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you're what
yeah,
you're doing is
yeah.
circular.
God's a necessary being who grounds all moral
There we go.
facts. When you claim if you claim something's immoral, you're appealing to a moral standard. If you have no objective standard, then you're just giving me your opinions, which
Oh, I
mean nothing.
Hey, Sean,
you're
guess what
just
time it is,
go
Sean?
ahead.
Yeah, run exactly. It's running
It's
time.
believer bingo time. No morality without God goes to J Rob. J Rob, you're now playing for the salad set. We will continue the conversation from here. Well done.
If you
Thank
want
you
to
for
prove your
filling in
morality,
our first believer bingo square of the evening. We are very
yeah. If you
happy
want to
about
prove
this.
if you want to prove it, go ahead, make it happen. Is that how
Make what?
y'all cope? Like, oh,
Make what
we
happen?
have no morals. Yeah, I'm saying, do you want to prove that you have an objective morality? I think you already said you don't.
I
So,
would
Well,
definitely not
we're
prove
also
that.
saying
It's not
J
a
Rob.
claim
We're
we've ever
also
made.
saying you don't. We're not just saying we don't have objective morality. We're saying nobody does, including you. And even if a God exists, I don't care if it's Yahweh, Thor, or Shiva. They don't either because it's a stance of a mind, and
no,
your mind, your personal
nope.
preference is to defer and outsource your morality to some deity that you think exists, and to defer to his subjective opinion. You have no
Yeah, no.
basis you have no basis to
Yeah,
say,
that's
let me
not.
finish. Let me finish. You have no basis to call him good. You're just saying so by decree.
Yeah, no. Sorry. That sounds good, but that's not. It's another straw man of our worldview, right? Because we don't believe that morality is grounded in his mind, his opinion, his stance.
Uh,
You told me without
I
saying
I
God.
think
Now
we have to
I didn't give
forgive me,
you.
but I think we
I,
actually have to draw a line here for a moment because we have had fairly definitive opinions in from both rooms. We've had a very decisive poll of 14-1 on the TikTok side to move on from this conversation because it's going around in circles and it's
All right,
getting a little dull.
run and cope on.
It's not running and coping. It's actually keeping our audience happy
No,
because it does
your
get.
audience needs to feel comfortable.
It's nothing to do with
J-Rob,
comfortable.
you're a legend. It's hard to keep up with you, man.
Indeed. And I think we have similar sentiment happening on the YouTube side as well. But thanks for being a good sport, J-Rob. We appreciate it. And the clip will be up tomorrow, man. Thanks a lot. Okay, well, there we go. That's a crazy argument. Crazy argument. That justice involves is compatible with killing 70,000 people, and they're related because they're in the same country and they had something to do with who was king. That is, I don't even have words for how nuts that is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read a few super chats.